Hi there, this is Professor McCartan, and I'm here to talk to you about print ads, and we will dive into the additional aspects of magazines. So let's talk about print media. Print advertising certainly includes magazines and newspapers, but it also can include produced printed surfaces such as brochures, directories, mail, posters, even outdoor boards. All print advertising has several unique elements in common. Compared to television or radio, print advertising has more permanence. It's around for a great amount of time. Since it stays around for a while, it may be read more than once or passed along to another reader. People also tend to spend more time with print advertising, so it provides an opportunity to present more detailed information and a longer explanation. Think about it. The last time you were at the doctor's office or the dentist, did you grab a magazine? Did you read the ads? Did you skim the magazine? Think about how many people were there that day. Was there 10 people there, 20 people there, 30 people that touched the same magazine that read the same thing over and over again? So obviously we can see that print advertising can be a very important ingredient in the marketing mix, especially in the media mix, and the combination of media types that work together to effectively deliver an advertiser's message. So when we look at magazines specifically, we look at the pros and cons of magazines. Magazines continue to offer a wide variety of benefits to advertisers, including flexible design options, prestige, authority, believability, and long shelf life. Magazines may sit on a coffee table for months and be reread many times. Consumers can read a magazine ad at their leisure. They can pore over the details, look at the photography of it, and they can even study everything very carefully presented in that copy. It makes an ideal medium for really high involvement thinking when it comes to a product. However, like every medium, magazines also have a number of drawbacks. They are expensive on the cost per reader basis, especially, and I will say especially color ads, they're very pricey. And since typically they come out only monthly or weekly at best, it is very difficult to reach a large audience quickly or frequently. For that reason and many other reasons, advertisers may use magazines, but only in combination with other media, such as newspapers and other forms of media items in the media mix. You couldn't just solely advertise in magazines. Now, when we're looking at the categories of magazines, I will say that in publishing of magazines, there's a lot of magazines that have special content that give many items for long-term growth and abilities for magazines, because the fact that there's consumer magazines, there's farm magazines, and there's big business magazines. And let's break these down a little bit so you can understand what I'm saying here. Consumer magazines are purchased for entertainment, information, or both, and they're edited for consumers that buy that specific product or personally consume that product. So Time, Sports, Illustrated, Glamour, Good Housekeeping are all consumer magazines. Farm publications are direct to farmers and their families or their companies that manufacture or sell agricultural equipment, supplies, or service, such as Farm Journal, Progressive Farmer, Prairie Farmer, or even Successful Farming. And then you have the business magazines, by far the largest category, targeted business readers. They include trade publications for retailers, wholesalers, and other distributors. So Progressive Grocer, Bakery News, business and industry magazines for business people involved in manufacturing and services would be like Electronic Design or American Banker. And professional journals for lawyers, physicians, architects, you name it, all forms of professionals. So there are really a lot of magazines out there to categorize, and pretty much anybody can find a magazine for them in the consumer side, the business side, or like I said, the farmer aspect of the magazines. When we look at a magazine, we may also classify them as local, regional, or national. Today, most U.S. cities, especially the larger ones, have local city magazines. So, for instance, I've read the San Diego magazine, the New York magazine, Los Angeles, the Chicago. I've even read Palm Springs Life. The readership is usually upscale business and professional people interested in local arts, fashion, and business. When we look at regional publications, they're more targeted specifically for the area of that country, such as West or South, so Southern Living or Sunset. National magazines sometimes provide special market runs for specific geographic regions. For Time or like Women's Day or Sports Illustrated might allow advertisers to buy a single major market. And then also national magazines, which range from those enormous circulations such as TV Guide to small, less known national magazines such as Nature and or Volleyball. The largest circulation magazine in the United States today, though, is the AARP, The Magazine, distributed to 23 million members of the American Association of Retired Persons. When we look at some considerations when buying magazines, we analyze the media vehicle, media planners, and buyer consideration of the buyer readership, cost, the mechanical requirements, and ad closing dates, so the deadlines. To be effective, they must run through and understand the magazine circulation and the rate card information. So, magazine rates are largely based on circulation. The rate base is the circulation figure on which the publisher bases its rates. It is generally equivalent to the guaranteed circulation, which the guaranteed circulation is the minimum number of copies that a publisher expects to circulate. This assures advertising will reach a certain number of people. If the publisher does not deliver its guaranteed figure, it must provide a refund. For this reason, guaranteed circulation figures are often stated very safely below the average actual circulation cost to make sure that they can live up to those needs. Now, what happens here is media buyers accept publications to verify their circulation figures. So publishers pay thousands of dollars each year for a circulation audit. And through this analysis of the circulation procedures, outlets of distributors, readers, and other factors by companies such as the Audit Bureau of Circulations, the ABC, circulation actually gets overstated more often than people think. As many as 30% of consumer magazines audited by the ABC each year don't meet the circulation level that was guaranteed to the advertiser. And also, I do want to touch on primary circulation, which represents the number of people who buy the publication, either by subscription or by the newsstand. When we look at the rate card, one way to compare magazines is to look how much it costs to reach those 1,000 people based on their magazine rates for a one-time full-page ad. You compute the cost per 1,000 CPM by dividing the full-page rate by the number of 1,000 of those subscribers. So magazine and newspapers often give discounts as well, and frequently discounts are based on the number of ad insertions, typically usually within a year period of time. When we look at volume discounts and we look at the reading card rates and continuing with that conversation, magazines charge extra for some special features. So I will tell you, color printing is normally cost anywhere from 30 to 60% more than black and white. Bleed pages can add as much as 20% to the regular rates, although typical increases is about 15%. And second and third cover rates, which is the inside covers, typically cost less than the fourth, which is the back cover, which is that prime real estate in a magazine. Well, I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit more about magazines, the pros, the cons, and everything that goes into a magazine. And until next time, this is Professor McCartan. Take care.